Hello everyone and welcome to Teamfight and Tactics. I am of course ImpetuousPanda from the Rising Legends broadcast team, but also the host of this wonderful interview series where I like to talk to some of the most exciting personalities in TFT, some of the best players as well. In this case, I think it's both. Enzo, welcome to the show. How are you doing?
Hello. I'm doing fine.
So before we get into TFT and talk all about the game and your playstyle and your achievements and results, I want to get to know you a bit more on a personal level. Where are you from? Your age? What do you do? Have you done anything outside of TFT, for example, studying or working? Whatever you want to share with our audience would be great.
Okay. I start right now.
Yeah.
Okay, but my name is Enzo. I'm from France. I'm 22, and I have stopped my studies for TFT.
And your last name is kind of Italian sounding. You have kind of a mixed family, no? With both Italy and France?
Yeah, it's Bordenzotti. It's because my family is a little Switzerland.
Swiss.
And Swiss and Italian.
Got you. Yeah, the first time I saw your name, I'm like, this guy is like a disguised French person because he didn't seem very French, but now I know the full story. Coming into your name though, Enzosx, what was the meaning behind this? How did this name come to be? I think it's been one of the most recognized names on broadcast for many reasons. But what's the story behind it?
Because my first pseudonym like I've played Minecraft, and my pseudonym was Enzosx, just 2 letters of the keyboard, no reason. It's yes, and after 2 friends say me, oh, SX is like sex. So yeah, you can try it, and I have tried it, and in that one I have got challenger with Enzosx.
The good luck charm.
So yeah, and a lot of people in France have speak about my name. So I have let this pseudo so many times.
You mentioned very briefly Minecraft. I wanted to ask you your second question about your gaming history before TFT. Just go over maybe some of the games you've played, if it was always kind of this strategy-based thing like TFT, or maybe a bit different, as you mentioned, with Minecraft. And your focus as well. Was it always hyper-competitive, or was it kind of a mix of casual and competitive?
The competitive of Minecraft was not very good. But I have played a lot of Minecraft in my when I was young. And I have played a lot of Fortnite, but not so good for competitive.
Great to hear about your Minecraft history. I think it's a very unique gaming background compared to most TFT players or just esport athletes in general. How was your entry into TFT though? Had you played other strategy games before? Was it a surprise to you that you suddenly were very good at the game? Were you good right away in set 1 when you started playing, or was it kind of a gradual increase in your level?
That was my first strategist game, and in the first set I have reached challenger. So I have say why not start to play more competitive after this.
And were you already focused on playing tournaments right when they started popping up? I know in France you guys had the blessing of having a very active tournament scene even back in like set 2, set 3, set 4. Were you already participating in these tournaments?
Yeah, I've started to play a tournament maybe in set 2 or 3 with Canon Cup or Arma Cup. This was 2 tournaments in France. But yeah, I have really started to play competitive in set 4, I think.
And what was your reputation like in France? You mentioned you made it to challenger all the way back in set 1. I guess that was the same set 2, set 3, set 4. Were you known as one of the stronger players in France? What do you think other French players thought of you when you were playing in tournaments and on ladder?
I think in the first set I was just a good player in ladder. But right now maybe I'm more competitive player for French.
Well, you made it to Worlds, so I think there's no doubt about it. You're definitely considered one of the best players in France, both on ladder, as you've proven with the snapshots last set, and in tournaments definitely as well. I can tell you that much. But when did that change happen? When do you think you went from being good, challenger player, but not much more, to suddenly becoming one of maybe the favorites in France? Was it very recent, you think?
Yeah, that was really maybe in set 8, because I have played lot of TFT every day, like so many time in a day, and that just the work is paying,
The work pays off. Do you think it was mostly just time commitment that made you better? Do you think you changed the way you looked at the game in certain aspects, or what do you think was the main reason why you suddenly got to that next level?
Yeah, because I have a lot of experience right now with this whole set of practice, and I look a lot of stream in different regions, like in EMEA, in China, in Japan, in Korea, and that helped me a lot.
And starting with set 6, that's when I think TFT became much more professional, in EMEA at least. We had Rising Legends start as a circuit. I started casting then, so it was a very exciting time for me, and I think for you as well as a player, considering how the prize pools increased, how there was much bigger and more professional streams and broadcasts for the tournaments. Did this motivate you to play more, to compete at a higher level?
Of course, yeah. When you see they are really engaged. Come on, I don't know how to say it. Wait.
The mid-interview Google Translate. I love it, Enzo.
They are really committed.
Committed. All right.
On the game.
My French is not good enough to help you live translate, but you got there by yourself.
Yeah, yeah. That's really nice to see it, and I think for all people on all regions, they all say, "Oh, let's go, let's play really seriously, let's try hard, let's win money." And I think it's the same for all.
There's much more investment, yeah, overall. And I think the level of play of TFT in general is much higher every single set in every single region. So I completely agree with you. Coming into set 8, Enzo, that's when you mentioned it was kind of the turning point for you as a player. How would you define your playstyle throughout the sets? Obviously, as a caster, I got to see you in many tournaments, and I think you played very high tempo, always knowing exactly how to make the strongest board without really giving up too many resources, without giving up too much gold, for example. What do you think defines your playstyle? What do you think separates you from other players?
I think this very aggressive playstyle is very good when you know perfectly the game, the transition, the item on late game. How can you transition in level 8? And I think that really helped me on set 8.
Is there anyone you learned this playstyle from? Any players or any regions that you looked at before in past sets and kind of took some maybe fundamental understandings of the game from them?
I think I have seen a lot of playstyle, and I have created one of my playstyle. It's yeah, I see this, and I create this. If
you have to say any players you think play somewhat similar to you, who would you say, either in EMEA or anywhere in the world?
I don't have a lot of example. Maybe in France we have a lot of players like this, but maybe yeah, a lot of players in France play like this. But this you need so many work for this work, and I think they don't. Yeah.
They're not quite at your level of being able to execute, let's say, this playstyle.
That's what I need to say.
Gotcha. I got your back, don't worry. Coming into regionals last set 8, I think that was your real defining moment where you told the casters, myself, the players, everyone in the world, basically, I'm Enzosx and I'm here to become one of the best players in EMEA and really prove it and kind of put the actions of your play in, to showcase that, basically. In the regionals, you got 80 points across 2 days in 12 games, which is a very difficult thing to do, especially considering these are the best players in EMEA. But still, you played super aggressive, super high tempo, and still just had incredibly consistent results. How did you feel after this? Do you feel like that was a moment where you really turned the page and became this like next level player?
You know, after the two first top one of the EMEA, I was really chill. I was playing like, yeah,
I can
let's
imagine,
go.
yes.
And I don't have, I really not stressful because I have a lot of points, so I just play my game and I don't need to do top one, so it's okay.
Coming to day 3, things started off maybe not as well. Still, you managed to I think it was a good test to see your mental fortitude. You still made in the top 4 spots, going directly to Worlds, having to go through the last chance qualifier, like kerfuzzled. How was the feeling on the day 3? Were you stressed? Did you feel there was almost like this expectation where you did so well in the first 2 days of day 3, you had to perform, you had more pressure maybe to perform?
I think the day 3 is the more difficult day of all of my TFT career. It was really stressful. I have a really good start in the 2 first game, and when you top 8, in your mental it's very difficult in the final of EMEA, and it was my first final, so I don't have the experience of this. And yeah, that was really good final, but maybe not in my best day, but
still enough.
Yeah.
And then coming into Worlds, your individual story is still, I think, a good one. I think you did a great job. You made final lobby. You made 5th place in the world for set 8 TFT, which is a difficult thing to do, and something that I think maybe a few sets you would have never dreamed of, but it was a reality. For the rest of EMEA, not so much. As a region, once again, you were the only one to kind of save us, but overall, I think it was a bit lackluster compared to what you'd expect from a region like EMEA, with the US being one of the strongest ladders in the world. What do you think was the reason for EMEA not really doing so well at Worlds?
When we have going to Berlin for the show, and so we have like a 3 day for training for Worlds, and I think this is not enough for train. The PC of kerfuzzled don't have work the first day, so we have not a time for train. I think we have the pressure of the stage, but maybe not me, but other people have maybe the stress of the stage, and it's the first time to the world for Aiden, for kerfuzzled, for Combis, and for me, so it's more difficult to play like we know.
And on a personal level, you, I think, did very well. Were you happy with the results? Did you want more? Did you want to be the champion? Realistically, going into the tournament, seeing the rest of the players, obviously a very stacked and very strong field, what were your expectations, and how was the tournament experience for you?
I was a little sad in the day because people want to win, so when you don't win, you are sad. In the last game, I have do a little mistake, so I have lose a place, and that a lot of money, like 600. So yes, it was a little sad, but overall, I'm happy with what I have do, but a little sad to finish like this. I think I have really good play in the final, and I'm sad to do a mistake in the last game.
Set 9, though, has now released for Runeterra Reforged. We've had 1 GSC already. We're going into GSC number 2. This is where this interview will be aired, of course. What are your general feelings of the set? And until now, what have been your results, both on ladder and in tournaments? How have you felt overall, your confidence?
I'm really confident. I have do 4th in the first GSC, and I'm qualified to the second GSC. I don't play for snapshot this time because I have a lot of points in GSC right now. I just need a good day 2, and I'm in EMEA final. So I'm really confident of the future. I hope to come back to Worlds, and I train hard, and I hope I can do it.
And on this patch specifically, 13.15, we've had a few patches that have been kind of on and off, good and bad throughout this set already. It's been, I think, difficult to balance with some things being very, very strong in certain patches, a lot of B patches as well for this set. How do you feel about this patch? Do you feel it's balanced? Do you feel overall you like it or not so much?
I have come back today of my vacation, my holiday, so I don't have so many games in this patch. After the World, I have take a lot of break of TFT, I think for my mental. But now I'm ready for focus on the TFT and see how the patch is. I think it's not a bad patch, it's a okay patch. We have not so many things really OP. So we don't need a B patch, I think. So I think it's fine.
And coming into this prep, we're recording this on a Tuesday, so there's 4 or 5 days to GSC. What does these 4 or 5 days look like for you? How is your prep going to be? What is kind of your schedule? Day in the life of Enzosx. How does that look like?
I sleep, I play, I eat, I play, I eat, I play, I sleep. So that's sort of my journey. I see some friends. I see my girlfriend. I have started this week of how did I say this? I have started this week bodybuilding. I hope maybe in 1 year I have a good physique.
That's good. That's good to hear. I think it's very important. Salvi mentioned it in set 7. The importance for him of going to the gym and having kind of physical health help in his own level of play in TFT and in esports with your mental health and kind of your focus, etc. So Enzo will reach maybe the next level. Super Saiyan Enzo will be here for next Worlds.
I hope.
You talk about your schedule being mostly, playing, sleeping, all this, but is there anything you do specifically in terms of prep, in terms of VOD review, in terms of kind of looking at stats, looking at numbers, looking at kind of the data outside of just playing games yourself?
We have a little Discord of pro player in French, like with Lecoco, Double, Zico, TLT, Ketzer, a lot of players. And we're working every day. We're looking at game. We are testing some comp in different regions. In NA, in some regions, so that's a really good work.
Are there any players that you like watching in different regions to have a different kind of understanding of the game or a feel for what they play like in their regions, like North America or China or like other regions?
Last set I was very looking at Setsuko, but no, I like to see how play this shop. I think he's very good in this set, so I think it's good to see it.
Well, I think very good this set and the past few sets as well. He's been tearing it up in terms of his consistent levels on ladder. Not so much in tournaments yet, but hopefully that'll change for him throughout this set. You mentioned a lot of the French players as well you're prepping with. Is there anyone in EMEA that you prep with that isn't French? Do you have any relationships with other players from other regions?
I don't really train with other people. I have really good relation with some people, but I don't train with us.
Got you. I wanted to ask, you've been obviously a part of TFT for a long time now. And I imagine you know a lot of the top historic names, but coming into this set, maybe set 8 as well, are there any players that you think are coming up that are still maybe new to the game or still proving their level, but you think you see certain glimpses of talent that you think they'll become one of the best players in the next few sets?
I think it's really hard to say this because lot of sets is always the same in the top, so it's hard to know how people can come in the top.
Then an easier question. I ask all the interviewees. I want you to give me your top 5 most influential or impactful or important players in the history of EMEA and TFT for you. It could be someone that you learned from. It could be just the best player in terms of competitive results. Whatever you think. Your top 5.
Top 5 is not really. It's not really. Maybe double in one.
It doesn't have to be in order. You can do it out of order if you want.
Yeah, okay, but just because you have win the first championship, and it's a friend of me, so I think it is on the top. Maybe not in the set, but in the past set, Daisy was really.
He qualified GSC through Open Qualifier.
Yeah,
this weekend,
AFC.
so there's maybe a comeback coming.
Yeah, but he have a lot of difficulty with his country, so it's really hard to play for him. It's a difficult question. Because we have a lot of good players, but to say only 5, it's really hard to.
This is the test. This is why it's the question in the interview. If it was easy, I wouldn't ask it.
I don't remember the people is going to world in EU.
It doesn't have to be the right answer, Enzo. It could just be whoever comes to your mind. Whoever maybe, the most natural answer is maybe the correct one for you as a player. Maybe players that you learned from, maybe players that had a big importance to you, becoming better. Players that you maybe saw in like a mentor role could be as well. It doesn't have to be, oh, these are the 5 players that won the most tournaments, So it's a more subjective answer, let's say.
But
I think it's more difficult now.
I just want to say some French because it's the first react of my.
You can. France has been dominating in TFT for a long time, so it would be a completely valid answer.
But I want to say some Spanish and Italian because it's my friend,
Up to you. You have 3 slots left. Double 61, basic.
Okay. Maybe Les Coco. Tsui. Zico. And last one. Balotelli and Luque. The 2.
The double.
It's a duo.
Great, and they won the last Malaga Invitational, so I think that's a great answer, and I think they're great players in their own right. I'm very glad you mentioned.
I want to say something. A different motion for Kerfuzel, Daiden, Zombies, and Ging, because I really like these people, and I have a really good experience with us, and I really like these people. And I think, I hope we are gonna do another world together because they are really, really good, and they are so good. Yeah, that's all.
It was great seeing you guys all play from the Berlin studio, from the LEC studios, for Set 8 World Championships for Monsters Attack. I was jealous that we were, in Alicante in the studio casting the event and we couldn't also be there. I would have loved to see you guys there, but we did finally meet in person in Malaga as well. What's your general opinion on these kind of events where you're able to meet players in person, you're able to further these relationships as well? Do you think it's very important? Do you think it's going to be kind of the future TFT with Las Vegas LAN coming up in December?
I think I'm really lucky because I was in the LEC studio with Cambiz, and it's a French and he's very good, like in the top player of EU, and I'm very lucky to qualify with him, and I think it's maybe on the set and the last set one of the consistent player in Europe, and I was very lucky to go with him. So in the game we can say, oh, allez mec, tu vas y arriver, or like yeah. And Kerfuzel and Aiden, I don't know her they before, but after the world, I can say they are really, really good people. I'm very lucky to yeah.
That's great to hear, Enzo, and I think we're all very grateful to have you as well in the competitive scene. You're quite a personality with your different stories and your on-camera presence, and also just a fantastic player. I think it was really great seeing you grow ever since Set 6 when I first started seeing your name, which called my attention because of the Enzosx, and then now developing into a player that had more and more ambition, and then has risen to the very top of the EMEA, and I think you've proven it. Some players just have it off of results. Maybe they win a tournament here and there, and you're good, but it's hard to really see that in your play style. But for you, it's the opposite. I think every top player I've talked to in the last few months has said that you're definitely one of the best players in the EMEA now, and maybe even the world in terms of how you play and how your play style is. So yeah, really happy that you're having the interview here with us, and really happy to see how you perform in GSC number 2. Before I let you go though, are there any shout outs you want to give? Anyone you want to thank for helping you grow as a player and make it to this point?
I can say it in French or...
Yeah, sure.
Je voudrais remercier tous ceux qui me soutiennent. Franchement, vous êtes énormément. Merci à Rising Legend parce qu'ils font un très bon travail. Franchement, ils ont un peu sauvé l'Europe. Merci à tous les gens qui étaient à Malaga. Franchement, incroyable de tous vous rencontrer. Je pourrais pas tous vous citer, mais tous les gens qui étaient à Malaga, c'est incroyable. I have said all people in Malaga was very good.
I'm getting some keywords, so I have the general idea of what you're saying. But my French from high school, not so good.
Et voilà, bah, j'espère que vous continuerez à me soutenir et que j'arriverai à continuer à perf. Et en tout cas, je voudrais tous vous remercier du fond du cœur. C'est incroyable ce qui se passe pour moi. Du coup, voilà. Merci.
Yeah, thanks so much, Enzo. Thanks, and best of luck again. GSC number 2, best of luck with the rest of the set. Hopefully, your dreams come true of making it back to Worlds. You have a chance to make it back to that final lobby and maybe even do better than 5th and maybe even become a world champion. It's something that I think both friends and EMEA desperately need ever since set 3 with doubles. So best of luck, and thanks again, Enzo, for coming out.
Thank you.